Hi, and welcome to the latest episode of the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn. Today we take a deep dive into the classic debut album by Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. Sit back, relax, and we hope you enjoy this episode. Hey everybody, welcome to the latest edition of the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn. Once again, I have my good friend with me, Mr. Vincent LaRussa. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well again.
Excellent, great. So, we've done a few of these episodes at this point. First one was a couple of Kiss albums. The last one was the Van Halen debut album. And I think when we were talking over that Van Halen debut album, we were talking about, what a classic, debut it was in the 70s, kind of groundbreaking. And it kind of led to an idea to do our next episode, another debut album, another one that kind of moved the needle, so to speak, in the 80s. Do you want to show which album we're going to be discussing right now?
And not only will I show this album,
Ooh.
but it is the original cover.
Nice.
Look, you can see your reflection on it. Look at you. There you are.
Yes.
If you were on the cover, it would look like that.
There you go. Nice.
And the interesting thing about this, and I know you remember this,
Mm-hmm.
this is the original first pressing, the band cover that this image wound up being on the interior sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
But the familiar cross with their heads there.
Yep.
You know.
Now, is
But,
that the original one that you got when we were in It's Only Rock and Roll? Yes,
Look at
it
the
is
price
rock
there,
and roll.
folks.
Wow,
And you see,
$5.99.
it says 1087. Okay,
Mhm.
and I love this too. You know.
Yep. Contains language maybe offensive.
So the interesting thing about this record, and allow me to tell the quick story.
Yeah.
We used to go to It's Only Rock and Roll in New York City on 8th Street, in the Village. We used to love going there. And then when we really started collecting, old Kiss records and trying to find the old records, original stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at the register. We were paying for stuff. And if you remember, in the old record store, they would have like these displays
Yep,
by the
absolutely.
register. And the guy said to us at the register, he goes, "You wanna buy something really cool?" He goes, "You should buy that Guns N' Roses record." And we kind of looked at it. I think we said $5.98. We could afford that, not knowing who Guns N' Roses were.
Yep.
And we just took guy for his word, not knowing that this was going to be a band cover or if it was already banned at that
Mm-hmm.
time.
Hold on, buddy. I lost.
Listened to it, loved it.
Yep. I lost your sound there for a minute, but go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
You took it home, loved it. I took it home, hated it.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to acknowledge that.
Yeah, no, you played it 5 zillion times like you would always do when I used to come by your house, and then it was just undeniable how great this record was. I don't know. I could get into why I think at first it kind of bugged me, the record, but
Yeah.
that being said, let's start this episode.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's funny because I was going to say, I remember you not liking this album at all when we first got it. So, we haven't discussed beforehand how we're going to be ranking these songs. So I'm going to be really interested and really curious to see, because my memory is, and I know you've come around to it, but my memory is that you actually strongly disliked this album at first. So to me, it's going to be very interesting as we go song by song for this one. So I guess let's get started, right? So right up at the top, I'll go first. Yeah, it's a classic. Welcome to the Jungle. I remember when we got the album, like you said, we did not know who Guns N' Roses was. This was, before they even broke on MTV. We bought the album. If I do remember right, the guy at the record store did tell us that the record cover was banned, but my memory could be off on that. And
I think you're right about that. I think that's why we're like, "Ooh, we got to buy this."
Right, exactly, because we just thought every record was going to be collectible in the 80s. So when somebody says the cover was banned, we had to buy it. But I don't know if you remember this. So when I first put the album on and we heard Welcome to the Jungle, I actually realized that I knew the song, even though I had never heard the Guns N' Roses version. Do you remember this?
No, I don't.
So you remember when we were teenagers, we used to always go to those Battle of the Bands things. And there was a band that actually covered Welcome to the Jungle, which obviously they were cooler than we were, because we had no clue what the song was. And it must have been like a week before we bought the album that we saw this. And when I put the needle on the record and I heard the song, it came back to me instantly. Like, oh yeah, that's that song. I didn't know that, in the Battle of Bands that this band covered. So that's always a memory for me when I hear Welcome to the Jungle. Yeah. So
I mean, you probably mentioned it at the time, but I just don't remember that.
Yeah. Well, it was 30 plus years ago, so I don't expect that you kept it in the memory bank. But it's a memory I have from this album. But to me, Welcome to the Jungle you put on the record, it's an absolute classic to me. You know, the whole guitar riff, you know where you are, you're in the jump. You know, to me, it's a great song. I listened to that and I scratched my head and said, how did you not like this album at first? But we'll you know, but hey,
you get into that.
To each their own. But I'm going to go with a solid 9.5 on this. This song, I know it's played tons and people are probably sick of it, but it's a great song. And I'm so glad Paul Stanley did not produce this album, because from every story I've read, he wanted to change the chorus because he felt they needed a chorus because it's only like one line. Thank God he didn't produce this album. That's why I'm a huge Kiss fan, but he had no business being anywhere near this album. So so 9. Well, the bands, exactly. So a 9.5 for me.
No, again, very quickly, I did not like the album at first. I think it was his vocals, and you know how I am with vocalists.
Absolutely.
And when I first heard his voice, it just bugged me, I just wasn't used to hearing somebody like that, and I remember when I first, just to jump ahead to like Paradise City, I mean, what is this, the Doobie Brothers? You know what I mean? I was like, reminded me of like Blackwater, Blackwater, and I was just like, but that being said, I came around pretty damn quickly with
did.
It was.
I just like to give you a hard time.
And listen, kudos to you. You knew right away. I still argue with you with the Sex Pistols and some of those other things you played a zillion times.
One day you'll come around with those also.
No, I won't. No, I won't.
We'll see.
But this song is perfection to me. This song is. I don't know how you don't give this song a 10. This song is great. I mean, it's an anthem.
Right.
It's every bit as good to me as like Ain't Talking About Love. We talked about the last episode. It's a signature song. And I'm thinking, like, how do you write a better song than this in this genre? And the first track, when you first hear the song, when that riff comes in, you just want to start ripping things off your wall. I mean, it's
absolutely.
And I just remember like Slash doing that hop on the stage when it would come out. And they were awesome, man. I just get chills just even thinking about it. I'm giving the song a 10.
Awesome.
What do you give it? You gave it a 9.5?
I gave it a 9.5. Yeah, and you have me reconsidering, saying, should I go 10 also? But you know what? I'll stick with my 9.5. You made a compelling case, but I'm going to go with my 9.5. I'll go with my first gut feeling. So, all right. So next up on the album is It's So Easy. So it's funny because you were talking about the vocals and how you didn't, first listen, you didn't like his vocal. One of the things I liked about this album is, Axl did change the sound of his voice in a couple of songs, and this being one of them where he sang like a little bit of a deeper voice. So to me, I love this song. I love the whole riff. I think it's a great riff. It's another one of these songs. It's like you said, like when you hear it, you want to just like ripping things off the wall, things like that. It's a great song, and it's obviously wasn't a single, but it's still to me damn good. I'm going to go with an 8 on this. I'm contemplating going higher, but I'm going to go with an 8 on it.
Yeah, I love the song. I love the song, the riff, the feel. I love that he's got an awesome range, Axl. I mean, now, again, knowing what I know now, more so being mature in music and stuff like that, he's got an awesome range. Nobody's ever sounded like Axl Rose, man. He's a true original, like David Lee Roth. I love the song. I'm giving him a 9.
Okay.
There's no doubt a 9 for me.
Okay. No, look, it's I could go.
And I love the version that's on the Lies record.
Okay. Yeah. No, wait. Is there a version? No, that's You're Crazy you're thinking of.
You're crazy. You're right. Sorry.
So you're jumping ahead.
If they
like
recorded it on Lies, I would love that version of it. But no,
hold on.
Right,
stop spreading lies.
I see. Everyone back. He knows nothing about Guns N' Roses.
That's all the comedy you're going to get from me on this episode.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So then I guess next up is Nightrain. You want to go first on this one?
Sure. Nightrain, good tune. Strong song. I love the that whatever that instrument is. It's just so cool that they put that in a record, in a heavy metal record. I liked it too. I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a good song. It's I'll call it a good solid album track. It certainly doesn't go up into the classic upper echelon area, but it's a song I'm not going to skip when I'm listening to the album. I'm going to go with a 6 on this one.
Okay. Just trying to be different from me on this record. I see what you're doing.
That's right, exactly. Whatever you say, I'm going to go plus or minus a little bit. So All right.
Right.
So I guess that brings us to the next track, Out to Get Me. You want to go first on this one?
Again, this is I think this is another middle of the road track.
Mm-hmm.
It's very close to Nightrain I'm just, I'm ready to do it. I'm playing it in my head. I'm playing you know, I think it's a little stronger than Nightrain. But do I want to give it a 7?
Here comes like a 6.5792483.
867. I give this an 8675309.
There you go, Tommy Two-Tone. Very good.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to give this a 7.
Okay. Yes,
Seven.
I kind of agree with you. This and Night Train, both like same type of song to me. They're both very solid album tracks. I probably like Night Train slightly better than this. So I gave Night Train a 6 before. I think I got to bump Night Train up to a 6.1. So that this way I could give this one a 6 and acknowledge that I do like Night Train slightly better. So please adjust my Night Train to 6.1 and give me Out to Get Me as a 6.
Okay. That's fair. I could do that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. So I guess next up is Mr. Brownstone. You want to go here first, buddy?
Yeah, I like this tune. I like this better than Night Train. I like this better than Out to Get Me.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to give it the upper echelon 8+ on this one. I'm going to give this a 7.5.
Yep, I agree. I'm going to go with a 7.5 on this. I like, again, he's singing in like the deeper register. And look, I'm no singer. I've tried to once or twice in my life, but I shouldn't go there. But
wait, I got that tape right here.
Yeah, no. We want people to still watch the episode. As a singer, watching them perform and thinking about Axl with his voice, I remember they used to open their shows with It's So Easy and Mr. Brownstone, like pretty much 1-2 with the. And I was always wondering, was that because they were both in the deeper register and it's the easiest way for him to start shows or not? Yeah, what the hell do I know? I'm not a singer, like I said, but it's a solid tune. I'm going to go with the 7.5.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good. I got you down.
All right, excellent. So Paradise City, another one of the classics. Why don't you go first here, buddy?
This might be arguably, to me, the best song on the record. Okay. And that even with Welcome to the Jungle, and we haven't talked about yet Sweet Child of Mine.
Mm-hmm.
The way this song starts and ends, it's tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
And I already gave Welcome to the Jungle 10, so what do I give? Does this go to 11, this one?
I think so.
I mean, this song
there's a
is
Spinal
awesome.
Tap reference.
Yeah. I mean, I almost feel like it's hard because Welcome to the Jungle is a 10, but I feel like this song's a little better. I just think it's the best song on the record.
Okay.
Am I allowed to give it a 10.1?
No. Sorry, can't do
that. Can we make it a special? Can we make the Paradise City exception?
The Paradise City exception. You want to give it a 10.1? Go ahead.
Come on, let me get that extra shade
go
for that 0.1.
We'll call it the Paradise City rule. Go ahead. You can give it a 10.1 if you want.
I'm going to give it a 10.1.
Okay.
This song is awesome. I love the video that they did at the old Giant Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
That incorporated live footage.
Mm-hmm.
It was all live footage, right? That they used for that.
Yeah. I think there was some live.
Sure.
Yep.
I think some of it was during sound check, and then if I remember, like did it go black and white to color or something like that?
I think so. Yep.
Yeah.
And the color might have been filmed someplace else. I don't remember. Definitely
might have been.
Yeah, part of it.
Oh yeah, maybe that might have been overseas.
Yeah. That I don't remember off the top of my head, but I want to say the color was live.
Castle Donington, or when they used to do those monsters.
Exactly.
I think it was like the Monsters of Rock they did.
That could be.
Come on, I rely on you for this information.
No, usually I'm good, but I look, I remembered it was filmed at 2 different shows.
Right.
And I know one of them was definitely Jersey. I don't remember where the second one was.
You're right. I think it was England or something like that. But.
Yeah, so I'm sure somebody who's watching could comment. Yeah, exactly. Let us know exactly where the second one was filmed.
So we don't know how to use Google after this thing is recorded.
That's right.
Yeah.
So all right. So this one's an interesting one for me.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I might be. Hold on. Let me gas up my car. I might be coming over.
Smack me in the head or something.
Yeah.
So I get mixed feelings about this song. So overall, I think the song is a great song. It's really good. The verses, I don't love the verses. I don't know. I don't like the way the lyrics were written. I just think of Beavis and Butthead. I think of Beavis and Butthead when I hear those verses.
Well, I can't wait for you to comments on this one. Come on, guys. Come on.
You know, I got to do one every episode.
All right.
And
got to be controversial.
And I'm not doing it purposely. So, you know, if the song was only the verses, I would be like at a 7. You know,
yeah.
But I can't ignore the fact that the whole beginning, like you said, the whole guitar riff is amazing, and the whole ending of the song is perfect. The whole, you know,
and they also made synthesizers cool.
Yes, exactly.
So got that whole synth in the intro. I mean, you know, this is a badass band.
Yep.
They still put synthesizer, cool sounding synthesizer.
That's right. That's right. So, you know, if I was rating only the ending and the riff of the song, it's a solid 10. So I get kind of mixed because I don't really love the verses. I don't know of any other songs that like I feel this strongly about, where I think the verses are just, you know, they're good, but they're not great. But the other parts of the song are just incredible to me. So I got to take both things into consideration. I can't give the song a 7 because the ending is amazing. I can't give the song a 10 because the verses aren't great. So I'll go with an 8.
How do you feel about the chorus? How do you feel about the chorus?
The chorus is good. You know, I like the chorus. No problems there. So I was going to go with an 8.5. Do I go to a 9 because I like the chorus? No, I'm going to go with an 8.5 on that.
Okay.
An 8.5.
Now, remember, when I said arguably the best song on the album, I don't know if I'm stating it's the best song on the album. I said arguably. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. And look, you know, just an 8.5 is still from defending my rating here. Upper echelon song. You know,
absolutely.
I'm not saying the song sucks by any means, but those verses, I want to say there was an episode of Beavis and Butthead where they're singing the song on the couch, and you know, those verses just whatever. Okay, whatever. I made my point.
All right, you made your point. You made your point.
Yes. All right. So now here's where you tell us to flip the record over. So you want to go ahead and tell us to flip the record over? There you go. All right. Very good. So we're now on to side B. Very good. So all right, leading off side B is My Michelle. I think this is a really good song. It's another one of these album cuts that I think is really, really strong. Catchy verses, chorus. I'm going to go to 7.5 on this. It's a really, really good song.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I remember once being asked at one of my drum lessons, that was the first time I was allowed to play a drum, performance on the kit. I said, "What's one song you want to play?" And this was the song I picked.
Okay,
figured, And I just love the groove.
Yep.
And I love the guitar riff. I love how it goes to a double time into the choruses. Drums. It's a great song. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Okay, very good. All right, so then next up is Think About You. You want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I will. This is my least favorite song on the record.
Okay.
If the album has kind of like a dud on the record, and then I think we might have, when we were talking earlier this week, we were preparing, not sharing notes because we don't sharing notes. I said I feel like there's one song on the record, that's kind of like the dud or my least favorite. I couldn't think of it at the time. And then when I listened to it, I was like, yeah, this is the one. Okay. Not a bad song. It's not a bad song. And it's a bit different from the other thing. And the kind of chorus and the guitar, with the clean guitar, I like some of the rhythm playing in there. But I just think it's average, a song. I don't think it's a below average song, so I'm going to give it a 5. Okay.
So, so you're right. When we were talking about this, and we, like you said, we didn't go song by song. I remember you saying that there was a dud on the album. We never identified what you thought was the dud. And I would not have thought it was this song because, oddly enough, this might be one of my favorite songs on the album. So, that's going to be the theme of this episode, apparently. Yeah. We're going to be opposites. I remember a few weeks ago we were talking about our favorite Kiss songs, and I was saying that one of my favorite Kiss songs was What's on Your Mind, and I like the acoustic guitar through the choruses. And, I think there's something about that type of producing with an acoustic guitar coming in and out of a song I like, and Think About You has the same thing here. I always loved this song. I still do. I can't say it's the best song on the album, even though I want to say it's the best song on the album. I have to try to be a little objective here. but it might be my favorite song. I'm gonna go with a 9.5 on this.
Yeah, to me, the song's got the potatoes, but doesn't have the meat. You know?
Okay, okay.
And, you know, it's and again, I think it's a good song, but I think it's just about average. You know,
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah, no, look, I love it. I'm sticking with my 9.5,
as you should.
as I should. That's right.
Don't
So,
deviate.
nope, there'll be no deviations. So, all right, so next up is Sweet Child of Mine. You want to go first on this one?
Sure. I mean, again, how do you not give this song a 10? I don't
Right.
know. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's, uh, between the video and just hearing that guitar riff for the first time, you never heard a guitar riff that sounded like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's such, a memorable, something that, you hear it now and you say the song's aged damn well.
Yeah.
And it's another song where how it starts and how it ends, it's
Mhm.
awesome. Guitar solo, that's, again, Slash's solos, you got to remember, again, and this is one of the things I wanted to bring to the table. I always try to interject something about the history of the music at the time.
Yep.
Every metal band at the time had what they always called the pointy guitars.
Mm-hmm.
They all were using the Kramers, the Charvels, the ESP guitars.
Yep.
And Slash came out badass with the Les Paul.
Yep.
Nobody was playing Les Paul. I used to shop at the music stores, and you could get Les Pauls for cheap.
Mm-hmm.
When Slash started playing Les Pauls, they all went up in price.
Yep.
And not only that,
Interesting.
people started playing tube amps and stuff again.
Right.
The old school technology, because in the early 80s, the mid 80s, I'm not saying that people use the Marshall stacks and all that stuff, but he really brought to the forefront that Gibson Les Paul.
Yep.
And really put Gibson back on the map.
Yep.
And and his guitar playing, he's and again, Izzy, great,
Mhm.
great rhythm player, but yeah, his tremendous, soloist.
Yep.
Just a unbelievable tune. I got to give it a 10.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, no, so I'm glad you brought up the guitar solo and the intro. And obviously, the intro is beyond classic, and it's one of the things. And not to rib you one more time, but I'll rib you one more time. I thought when we first got the album that because I loved the song the first time I heard it, and I thought that when the first time you heard it, the intro, I don't want to say it annoyed you, but I seem to remember when we first got the album, like you just, I'll say you didn't get it, and obviously, like you said, it clicked in very quickly. But do you remember that?
I think you annoyed me, but I don't know if it's not.
That could be also.
You're probably right. I know I was just I probably went on one of those things. Once you put it on, I wanted you to take it off. So I just, on every song, like, yeah, listen to this. I probably was, being a grumpy asshole. And, is this censored?
Edit
yeah,
her
I probably, edit her out. Those people who know Kiss Exposed.
That's right.
Yeah, no, you're right. I probably did say, because again, I wish I knew what the period of time. I want to say it was probably around a 2-week period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Because you would do this to me all the time.
Yeah.
I remember vividly coming to your house, and seeing on
a Ducks
kitchen
Island
tape.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
No one's gonna know that reference, and I'm not even going there. Coming to your house and seeing on your kitchen table the Look What the Cat Dragged In album cover and being like, "Are you kidding me with this?
Right.
Like, what is this?" And now you've gone too far, and I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure we could go into that another day, but
yeah, that's
I do
another
give you
debut
credit.
album we'll have to do.
Yeah, I do give you credit because, there was a bunch of things that you bought that I thought were ridiculous at the time, for whatever different reasons, and I wound up buying them, the next day or the next week.
Mm-hmm. But I still can't get you to buy Nevermind the Bollocks.
I did buy that.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did eventually break down and bought a J&R Music World, and more so recently, about a year and a half ago, I gave it to my brother.
Okay.
I was like, you know what? It gave him more joy to own that record
Okay.
than for me to have it.
Okay. All right.
So but I did buy it. I did.
It's a step in the right direction. But anyway, back on topic. Yeah. So, exactly like what you were saying. So to me, Sweet Child of Mine is a perfect song. It's aged, like you said, really well. I probably like it better even now than I did 25, 30 years ago. So I'm going to go with a 10 on this one as well.
Easy, right?
Yeah. So, all right. So next up is You're Crazy. Why don't you go first?
This is the one that's on the Lies record, right?
Yes, this is the one that's on the. This is the one that they put acoustic on the Lies album.
Awesome version. Yeah, I love this tune. This is a great tune. got cool bass in it, man. Bam, bam, you know. And then again, Duff McKagan, that was one thing when I first heard his bass playing on this record, being right out in the front. I remember we both loved that, you know. I wish I would have heard that right away and said, like, this is cool, you know,
Right.
because, you know, he was a awesome bass player, still is. Again, this is a great song. I got to say, I'm going to give it a solid 8.
Okay, wow. All right. So I like this song. I don't love it by any means. I think it's average, maybe just above average. Certainly not bad.
Not the part when it goes into the double dub. No, they take it back. That's what I love. I love, you know, Steven Adler. I don't know if it was his idea, man. Again, awesome drummer.
Yep.
You know, him changing the tempos. Again, how before Mr. Who's the actor who did the I Need More Cowbell? You know, the Saturday Night Live skit. I want more cowbell. This
Okay,
track
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
This
about.
record is loaded with cowbell. That was
Yes.
another thing you didn't hear on any metal record. You heard it here and there. You heard a Motley Crue, you know, obviously on Live Wire and a couple other tunes. But Steven Tyler abused the cowbell on it, and in a great way.
Did you say Steven Tyler?
Steven Adler, thank you.
Okay.
Is this the night you just correct me on all my misspeaks, misinformation? Thank you for that.
No problem. You're only a drummer. I just figured, you know. But I guess
That's true. I'm not that smart.
Steven Tyler does play drums also, so you know.
That's why I said that.
Exactly. Exactly. But no, so look, I hear everything you're saying, but for me, You're Crazy is still just average, maybe just above average song. I'm going to go with a 5.5 on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I could give this a 7. I mean, I'm just looking at give Mr. Brownstone. Have to give me a 7. I'm going to give it a 7.5. I'm going to change it to an 8 to a 7.5. All right, what did you give it?
I gave it a 5.5.
7.5. Okay,
All right.
fair enough.
So next up is Anything Goes. Why don't you go first, buddy?
Yeah, this is a good tune. Not one of my favorites. You know, right off the bat, I give it a 5.5.
Okay, so it's funny when you were talking before about the duds on the album, I figured this is the one that you were talking about because I just, from even back in the day when we bought the album, I was never a big fan. It's just the one that always stuck out to me. I know it's a little bit different than sounding than the rest of the album, but it just always bored me. There's that word again, boring. You know, it bores me even worse than Cold Gin. So, perhaps just as bad as Little Dreamer. So, if I remember right, when we did our Van Halen episode, I gave it a 4, and I'm going to go with a 4 on Anything Goes.
You gave what a 4? Atomic Punk?
No, I think I gave Little Dreamer a 4.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
Right.
Yep,
So to me, this is in that territory of boring and wants to put me to sleep. So Anything Goes 4. Get it out of here.
Okay.
They should have put that song in the heap. So get rid of it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, not that I rated it that high, but I feel a little bit stronger about that. Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so then that brings us to the last song, Rocket Queen. I think you remember from back when we bought the album, this was always one of my favorite songs. I went back and forth in my mind. So I gave Sweet Child of Mine a 10 because it's a perfect song. But if I was just going to listen to one song on the album, I went back and forth. Is it Think About You or is it Rocket Queen? I went back and forth, and ultimately I said, it's probably Rocket Queen. I just love the way it's almost like two separate songs mixed into one. Both parts are phenomenal just as on their own individually. So the fact that there can be two different parts like that melded together to make one great song. I can't give it a 10, but I'm going to go with a 9.8 on this. I'm going to go like in one of your things like where you mix it up a little. I'm going to go with a 9.8.
Nice.
Yeah.
I agree a lot with what you say. I think it's awesome. You know me, I love when you could take a song and bring it to another place. I think it's definitely a notch below the 10s on this record. So I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay. Yeah, and you mentioned before, and I just want to go back to it, it's not only about this song, but the production on this album. I remember always thinking that I just loved the way the whole album sounded, from the drums to the bass to the guitars to the vocals. I just felt it was always like a perfect blend, a perfect mix. If I remember right, and you have the album in front of you, so you could tell me if I'm wrong, but was it produced by Mike Click? Do I have that right?
I think it's Clink.
Clink, okay. Yeah, I'm doing it off the top of my head, but...
Klink, yes, Mike Klink.
Yeah. So off the top of my head, I don't know anything else he ever produced, but I don't know how he didn't get more high-profile albums, because to me, this album, the sound is incredible on it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you know what the thing is about this record? Again, you're taking it back to this 87, correct?
Yep. Yep.
You know, the big hair metal bands, the drum sound, the production was so huge, reverb on that stuff. Now, the drum is a huge drum sound on this record, but the guitars are raw.
Yeah.
You know?
Agreed.
Not overly affected on the vocals. You don't hear all these crazy delays. You hear kind of cool, like, I love in Rocker Queen when he goes, "Here I am." It's got like some sort of flange or something on his voice. Yeah. Awesome. Like, you know, the way this thing was mixed, brilliant. Just a freaking perfect record, you know, in some ways. You know, again, we could do a wrap up and talk about the Van Halen record and all that stuff, but this is just an awesome debut record.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, you know, like you were just saying, it kind of, we decided to do this episode after doing the last one on Van Halen and say, you know, I think we were saying, you know, which album do we actually think is better? They're two classic debut albums. So I guess before we get to our overall ratings on this album and figure out our average, and then, you know, we can even compare it to the Van Halen. Let's talk about the album cover for a moment, right? So I think when we spoke...
Well, I mean, this is the... Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, when we spoke Van Halen, I know you said you love the album cover. I'm curious what you think of this one.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's really fair to use this one because...
Well, why don't we rate both?
Okay. Because does the other... No, I thought it had on the inside. I thought it had the... No, they did it on the reverse. I mean, the artwork's awesome. It's so disturbing. You know, it's crazy. Look at this. And actually, it was copyright 1978, which is interesting.
Yeah, no, I know it's a painting of some, you know, that existed before the album cover. Yeah,
which makes it kind of even cooler that it wasn't designed for the cover. Like, we want it to look like this. They just somehow found this piece of artwork. I mean, this is an awesome cover.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to rate it, because I'm already going to tell you, like, the one that everyone knows is the classic cover.
Right. Yeah.
And again, it's just that's an awesome cover. But, I don't know how to rate this. It's hard. I don't know. Because I'm going to give the other cover a 10, you know? I can tell you right off the bat. So that being said, it's just so odd looking and whatever. As an album cover, I love the artwork, but I don't think it's a great cover, you know, if that makes any sense.
Totally.
So I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay. Yeah. So just hold it up for me for one moment, because I don't have mine on me. Yeah. So look, I think the album cover itself is great. I love the painting. That's good. Thank you. So on the left and right, I don't necessarily love the big, you know, block letters on each side. And to me, debut album, I know the name of the band is there in huge letters, but the logo should have been on the front, right? To me, they have a classic logo. I think they put it on the back cover, if I'm not mistaken, but I do love the painting. I'm probably nitpicking a little bit with the logo not being on the front. I'm going to go with an 8 on the original cover. I actually like the original cover quite a bit. In fact, I'll segue us into the newer cover, or the classic cover, I should say. Classic cover, I think, is a little bit boring, actually. I know it was the original picture.
You get a commission on the word boring?
I do get a commission on boring, so you called me out on it. Yes, I do. I've trademarked the word, and every time I use it, I get extra paid. No, it's a cross and some skull faces, and
but it's iconic. I mean, you know, it's like it's.
Yeah, but just because it's iconic,
I'm not saying it's brilliant, but it just. I mean, no, I guess you're right. Yeah. I'm right, you're wrong. Let's just keep it at that.
Okay, so that's the rating. You got right and I'm wrong.
Yeah.
No, I'd probably give it a 6, actually, the classic cover.
Interesting.
What about you, buddy? Obviously, I'm wrong, so what about you?
Again, I'll give it a 9, all right? I won't give it a perfect 10. I'll give it a 9.
Okay, very good.
I wish I had the album cover here to display it, but
So I guess before we get into the overall averages for this album, I have to ask you one question, seeing that you still had the album from It's Only Rock and Roll that we bought in, I think you said October of 87. Do you still have the sticker inside?
What are you talking about? What sticker?
It came with a sticker of the cross. Yeah.
Now, what would I have done with that?
I don't know. I'm actually surprised. I figured this is I thought this is a layup. I figured you'd be like, you kidding? Of course I have it.
Somebody stole my friggin' sticker. No, I don't have a sticker.
So
now you know this is going to keep me up.
I was just going to say, I just ruined your life. I'm sorry.
Do you have, I'm assuming you still have the sticker?
So you ready for this? I actually sold my copy that we bought at It's Only Rock and Roll probably about 15 years ago for $150. Because of obviously it being the original cover. I actually did repurchase the album, and it's hanging on my wall over here. So that's why I'm not taking it out to show, because I have Steven Adler sign my album, so it's proudly displayed on my wall next to my picture of me and him together. I think I have the sticker inside, but I'd have to take it out of the frame, and I'm not about to do that. Sorry.
I can tell you one thing: I never took the sticker out and stuck it, because you know me, I would
No,
have
of
never
course
done
not.
that.
Yeah.
So either it fell out or somebody stole it on me. Gee, I wonder who did that. But
maybe that's how come I have a sticker.
It could be.
Maybe,
when I took your Keel 45, you took my sticker.
In fact, maybe you come to my house, you should make sure I don't have two stickers inside my album.
Yeah.
So
I do have another copy of this.
Okay.
I'm sort of wondering if it's in that other one.
Well,
at the time.
The next time we do one of these episodes, you'll have to give us an update if you find your sticker.
I will.
Okay. All right, very good. All right. Well, on that note, why don't we get to what our overall ratings were on this album? I know I ruined your night. I'm sorry. So you've been logging the scores there, right? 12 songs on the album. What was my overall average rating on this album?
7.6.
7.6. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. If I remember right, and help me here.
Actually, I guess it rounds up to a 7.7. It was 7.66.
Right? 7.66 rounds up to a 7.7. Yes, so 7.66. And again, talking to debut albums, how did I rank the Van Halen album when we did that episode?
7.4.
7.4. Yeah, so I think that makes sense to me, because I do think I like Appetite for Destruction better. Look, both classic debut albums, but 7.66. All right, very good. I'm just playing through some of my other ratings in my head for some of the other episodes we did. But all right, what about your rating?
7.9. 7.88. So
7.88. Okay.
And my Van Halen was 7.8. So there's 0.1. See how I told you how that 0.1 would factor in?
That's right. Oh, that's interesting.
And quite honestly, as an overall album, I probably like this record better. So I probably would have thought by a little bit more points, but so be it. If you had to ask me what do I think is the better debut, I don't really know if I can do that. There's such different albums. They obviously launched the career for both bands. They were groundbreaking for different reasons. Appetite had more hits. That's and they also benefited, remember, from MTV.
Oh, without a doubt. Yep, without a doubt.
So if Van Halen would have been the first Van Halen would have been during the MTV boom, maybe I didn't talk about love. You Really Got Me could have been, even though it was a cover, could have been a big hit.
Yep.
So it's a little unfair to compare it that way too. But,
No, absolutely. I agree. Well, I think, when we decided to do this episode, it was because clearly, when we did the last one, we thought the Van Halen debut album was great. We compared it to the first Kiss album, the debut album. That one was great. I think for both of us, all three of those are close to each other. I think without a doubt, this one, Appetite for Destruction, to me, with the exception of Anything Goes, it's 11 incredible songs on here. Some better than others, but it's a really, the album cuts on this album is just incredible to me, better than many of the singles of other bands in the 80s.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's not many albums I remember the day I got it, first listening to it, etc. And this is certainly absolutely one of those albums.
And the other thing you got to remember too, and if you remember historically, when this record came out, just like how they were having the copycat bands of the hair metal bands, everybody was trying to. Now the record companies were trying to bring out these bands that were dirtier, maybe a little bit uglier, more glam to the way they were glam. You had LA Guns, which there was some sort of rival thing going on with them, and you had bands like that were coming out. So it just brought on another wave And I want to say that Guns N' Roses was the precursor to killing the heavy metal scene
I
in the
agree.
80s. It wasn't really Nirvana. It was this album because, even for myself, I love 80s hair metal, man. But after I listened to about 2 hours of it, now all the songs start sounding the same to me.
Yep.
Because they were cookie cuttering them. Except for some brands like, me, I've always said about Cinderella, how I felt like they were kind of doing their own thing and they weren't, just going the same line as the Poisons and some of the other, and the Rats and those other bands and whatever.
Yep.
But it became very cookie cutter. And then everybody was trying to be Guns N' Roses and nobody else could do it like them. That's quite honestly. So they kind of just, even though metal still was very, very popular in 88 and 89, especially, I think this was the record that kind of knocked them down. Yeah. And then when grunge obviously came to light, that was it. It was like people just had enough.
Oh, absolutely. No,
out of the cold and into the fire.
That's right. Well, it's funny. It's funny because if you think about it, when Guns N' Roses first came out, like if you watch that Welcome to the Jungle video, they are wearing makeup and it's a little glammy, and they quickly, and even I think the back album picture, if I remember right, might have a little bit, and even in the sleeve, there's like a whole bunch of pictures inside. They definitely had a little bit of a glam look, but went away from that instantly. Yeah. Instantly.
Hold on, let me see my sticker. Oh, that's right, it's not in here. Yeah. Like if you see a picture of Axl here, he definitely. Let me see if I can get in there.
Yep, absolutely.
You could see that kind of like the way he was in the video, for sure.
Yeah. But they abandoned that look pretty much instantly. Right after that video. And I agree with you. Definitely, this is the album to me that kind of moved the needle and started to move those glam bands out of that. Even obviously we both love Kiss, and Crazy Nights had just come out, and think about their next album was more basic rock and roll and Hot in the Shade. I'm not saying it was a great album, but they were starting to move towards that basic rock and roll. And there's other bands that were kind of following that same path where the glam was, even I think Poison, if I remember right around that 89, 90, started to abandon the makeup a little bit more. So I think it absolutely started with Guns N' Roses. I agree with you 100%. So, alrighty, I think on that note, so there you have it. It's our ratings for this album. I guess we'll look for people to comment and kind of tell us where you agree with us and where you think one of us might be a little crazy ourselves. Feel free to leave your comment. I'll say anything goes when you leave your comments. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I think, I thoroughly enjoy these. Thank you for having me, first of all. And I look forward to, more discussion and some more records that we could talk,
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm already
great music that.
Yeah.
You already got it. Ooh,
yeah. Right. No, I'm spinning my wheels on what the next one should be, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm like, you're already, all right, cool.
Yeah, after we
I have a couple ideas. I got a couple ideas,
Okay. Maybe we'll have to do like one episode, like a listener's choice. I could ask people on the site to kind of give us.
Have them pick two records and maybe we'll,
Yeah, we could do a couple of episodes like that. So,
maybe not even one of our favorites,
Exactly.
We have to kind of go back and, we would welcome that.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool to do something. So, all right, let's wrap this one up. Again, thank you everybody for watching. Again, Mike Brun from the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brun. Special guest Vincent LaRussa tonight. Again, thanks, Vin, for joining. Go over to my Facebook page, follow the page, Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brun, and follow me on Twitter at Mike_Brun. And I guess, Vin, you're playing with Space Beard now also. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
my brother's band. This is my brother's band. It's an original band. Check out Space Beard. They're on iTunes.
Perfect.
Great music.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Talk to you guys soon. Later. Thanks for watching this latest episode of the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brun. Follow my Facebook page, The Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brun, where we talk all of your favorite rock and roll each and every day. And follow me on Twitter at Mike_Brun. Thanks, and until next time, later, everybody.